Join Kids Hut family. Our gardener is so rude. I am never going to talk to him again. Maybe you should try to be nicer to him, Tofu. Perhaps he has no friends and feels lonely. Yes, he doesn't talk to anyone. Hence, he has no friends. Why would anyone talk to someone who doesn't talk to them? That's not what Heidi did. Who is Heidi? Heidi. There lived a little girl called Heidi. She lived with her aunt in the village. Once it happened that Heidi's aunt had to go to the big city for work. She would be gone for a long time. So she decided to leave Heidi with her grandfather, who lived alone on the mountain. Heidi's grandfather, a carpenter named wasn't a friendly person because of some experience in his past. He didn't like to talk to anyone, and that is why he lived all the way up in the mountains. And now Heidi had to live with him. Bye-bye, Heidi. Be a good girl. Bye, Auntie. Hello. My name is Heidi. Heidi waited a while, hoping that her grandfather would talk to her. When she realized he wasn't going to, she decided not to disturb him, and instead she went out to see the mountainside. She had never seen such vast lands of green. She fell in love with her new home immediately. She lay down next to a bed of daffodils under the open sky and smiled to herself. That's when she heard the goats with bells around their neck. Oh, hello. Where did you come from? I brought them here to feed, like I do every day. Where did you come from? Hello, my name is Heidi. I have come here to stay with my grandfather. Hello, Heidi. My name is Peter. Old Grandpa is your grandfather? He often helps us with furniture and maintaining the barn. In turn, my grandmother bakes bread for him. You live here with your grandma, is it? Can I meet her? Yes, come with me. And so Heidi went with her new friend to his house to meet his grandmother. Peter's grandmother was very loving, and although she was blind, she loved to talk and cook. She was very happy when Peter told her about Heidi. Oh, that's wonderful. Come here, dear Heidi, and give me a hug. Are you hungry? Well, come, I will make you some special soup. Heidi spent the rest of the day at Peter's house and learned how to make special soup from his grandmother. Heidi asked her if, like Peter, she too could call her Granny, and she was delighted when she agreed. When it was evening, she said goodbye to them and went back to her grandfather's house. When she reached there, he was still working in his workshop. So Heidi went into the house. Sometime later, Heidi called out to him, "Dinner time, grandfather! Come, let's eat together." Old Arm looked up in surprise. No one had made dinner for him in decades. He closed his workshop for the day, washed up, and went to eat. Heidi had made the lovely soup she had learnt from Granny. They ate in silence. And although her grandfather liked the soup very much, he didn't say anything. When dinner was done and the kitchen had been cleaned up, they both went out in the yard and sat under the stars quietly. After some time, Heidi started feeling sleepy, and so she kissed Arm goodnight and went to sleep. Arm had not experienced so much love in many years, and so he sat there with tears in his eyes for a long time. Next morning, by the time Heidi got up, her grandfather was already in his workshop. She decided to go and be with him. "Good morning, grandfather." Heidi knew she wouldn't get an answer, so she decided to make herself busy. She swept the workshop, filled fresh water in Arm's jar, and to surprise kissed him and went out to feed the hen. When it was about afternoon, she served a lunch of mashed potatoes which she had learnt to make from her aunt. Later, she went to Peter's house to spend time with Granny and returned in the evening to serve dinner. This went on for many days. Every morning and night, she would kiss her grandfather on the cheek and wish him. She would clean his workshop and fill fresh water in his jar. All this love and care that Heidi gave him changed Arm's behavior. He loved having Heidi around and enjoyed it very much when Peter and Granny came by to visit her. One day, upon Heidi's insistence, he even took her to the village. They bought a pair of shoes for Heidi. On the way back, they bought candy floss. Throughout the trip, Arm laughed and played with Heidi. All the villagers were surprised to see this change in the old carpenter. 2 years went by, and Heidi and Arm were very happy in each other's company. Till one day, Heidi's aunt returned. She wanted to take Heidi with her to the big city. The man whose office she worked in had a daughter, Clara, who couldn't walk. Clara always needed a wheelchair to go anywhere. Hence, she had no friends. Clara's father wanted Heidi to be Clara's friend. "Grandfather, tell her I do not wish to go. I want to live here with you." But Arm didn't say anything. He knew that Heidi would have a much better life in the big city. And so Heidi left her grandfather, Peter, Granny, and the mountainside to live in the big city. She was straight away taken to the mansion where Clara lived. There she met Clara's father. He was a very kind and loving gentleman who loved Clara very much, but often had to travel a lot for business. During these times, he left Clara in the care of her grandmother and a rather stern housekeeper. "Hello, Heidi. I am Clara's father. I wanted to thank you for coming here. I am sure you will like living here with Clara. If you ever need anything, please let me know. Now come, I will take you to Clara's room." When they entered Clara's room, Heidi saw a beautiful girl, maybe 2 years elder to Heidi, sitting on a wheelchair. She was very pretty, but she was frail and seemed sad. The housekeeper pushed the wheelchair forward towards Heidi. "Clara, this is Heidi. She will live with us now. I will see you both in the evening now. Bye-bye." Saying so, he and Heidi's aunt left to attend their business. For a while, Heidi didn't know what to say to Clara. "My friend Peter has many goats. Sometimes I can't make out whether he controls the goats or they control him." Hearing this, Clara also broke into giggles, and Heidi immediately knew that they were going to be very good friends. She started spending her whole day with Clara. She would tell her many tales of the mountains, while Clara would tell her about the different cities she had stayed in after her mother had passed away. While the housekeeper was very stern and always stopped the girls from enjoying themselves too much, Clara's grandmother was very nice. She even taught Heidi how to read. Everybody who met Clara now noted how happy she looked. One day, the girls went out to the market. As Heidi pushed the wheelchair forward, she saw a vendor selling daffodils. She was immediately reminded of home, her grandfather, Peter, and Granny. When they came back from the market, Clara asked Heidi, "Wasn't today fun, Heidi? What do you think of my new bracelet?" "Yeah, it's lovely." And so it went from that day. Heidi didn't want to play or sing with Clara, and she wouldn't read with Clara's grandmother. She wouldn't even eat unless was forced to. She would just keep doing her work quietly. She missed her home terribly, and her heart broke every time she looked out of the window and saw buildings and towers instead of mountains and sky. This went on till one day she felt terribly ill. Clara's father called the doctor right away. "Well, I am afraid she is homesick. She misses home. No medicine or treatment can make her better unless she goes back. I will immediately make arrangements to send her home." True to his word, Clara's father made sure that Heidi was back in the mountain at her grandfather's house in 2 days. Just the news of going back home had made Heidi feel better. And when she reached her grandfather's home, she ran to him and hugged him. Even Am was very happy to have Heidi back. "I am never going away, grandfather." "You don't have to." "Grandfather, this is Clara. She is my friend from the city. She has come to stay with us for a few days." And that is Clara's father. As the two men shook hands, Peter came over. The children were very excited to see each other. "You must be Peter. Heidi has told me all about you. You must take me to your granny." Yes. Come, I will push your chair. Granny would love to meet you." After some time, Clara's father said goodbye to everyone. He would come back in few weeks to take Clara back to the city. The children waved him goodbye. In the next few days, the children had a lot of fun. Peter and Heidi would take Clara along with them everywhere. Peter would pluck fresh fruits for them, and they even showed her how to milk a cow. With the good food, air, environment of the mountainside, Clara grew stronger. So much that she even learned to walk by herself. Soon it was time for Clara's father to come and take her away. When he came, she surprised him by walking up to his carriage. "Oh, my darling, I am so happy." As they left, everybody was happy. There was no sadness in anyone's heart. "Bye-bye. I will visit you soon." "I will too. Goodbye. Take care." So you see, Tofu, when you are kind and loving towards someone, you can change their whole life. Yes, Tia. Thank you for teaching me this valuable lesson. Perhaps I will take some chocolates for the gardener. Animals have such an easy life, dear. No school, no rules, no homework. What do they have to worry about? Everybody has their troubles, Tofu. Let me tell you the story of Thumbelina. Once upon a time, a woman lived by herself in a faraway village. She was very lonely after her husband had died. She always wanted to have a child, but alas, she didn't have any. One day, she went to her friend who was a witch. The witch gave her a grain of barley and told her to go back home and plant it. The woman did as she was told. The next morning, a beautiful plant had grown from the seed. It had a lovely flower that looked like a tulip. The woman had never seen a flower like that and was mesmerized by its beauty. She gently kissed one of its petals. As she did that, the flower blossomed open. Inside it was a beautiful little girl, no bigger than the size of the woman's thumb. The woman instantly fell in love with her and called her Thumbelina. Thumbelina took away the woman's loneliness. In the day, she would tell her stories and talk to her. Sometimes she would make Thumbelina a boat out of a tulip petal which she could row in a plate full of water. At night, Thumbelina would sleep in a bed out of a walnut shell with a blanket made of a rose petal. One night, as she was sleeping, a frog came to her window and saw her. He thought to himself, "What a beautiful girl! She will make a lovely bride for my son." And so he grabbed Thumbelina and hopped away to his home. When his son saw his bride-to-be, he was very happy. "She is beautiful, father. I will marry her. But before that, I want to build her a beautiful house."
Okay, son. I will put her on the water lily in the middle of the pond till then. This way she will not be able to escape.
And so the frog put Thumbelina in the middle of the pond on a water lily leaf. Thumbelina tried to escape from her new home, but when she couldn't, she broke down crying. Two minnows were sitting under the same leaf and they heard her cry. They asked her about her troubles, and when she told them, they decided to help her. They nibbled away the lily stem. Soon it broke and floated away with Thumbelina. Just when Thumbelina thought she was free, a beetle came down and took her away to his home. He called over his friends to introduce them to his pretty prisoner. But the beetle's friends told him that she was too different than them and she didn't belong with them.
I agree. I think I should let her go.
And so he dropped her in the long grass and flower. Thumbelina was very happy that she was free from her captors. However, she still did not know where her home was. She spent many days in the grass and between the flowers. She would eat the pollen of the flowers and drink the dew from the leaves. One day, as she was walking, she stumbled upon a small house made of mud. It had a strange round entrance. She went up to it and knocked on the door. A mouse opened the door.
Oh, hello there. Isn't it cold out there for you today? Come in, please.
Thank you so much. Once Thumbelina was settled comfortably in the mouse's house, he asked her about who she was. Thumbelina told him her entire story.
Do not worry. You can stay here as long as you like.
So Thumbelina started staying in her newfound home. To make herself useful in the house, she would cook for the mouse and tell him stories. After a few days, the mouse said he had invited a guest over.
He is the richest mouse in all the land. He is a very good friend of mine.
That night, the mouse's friend came over for dinner. They all talked and had a very good time. During the course of dinner, the friend fell in love with Thumbelina and declared that he would marry her. Thumbelina had no choice but to go along with what was happening. When the friend offered to show her his home, she agreed to visit his house. And the three of them set off together. On the way, they entered a tunnel. There they found an injured swallow lying on the ground. The mouse's friend kicked it and rudely said,
Serves her right. What is she doing in the tunnels? He should have stayed in the air.
Thumbelina was shocked to see that someone could treat another like this. Unseen by the mice, she ran away from there. Once she was sure that the mice had left, She came back and attended to the swallow. She took great care of her. Till she was fit to fly again. It became spring by the time the swallow could fly again. She told Thumbelina,
I have to join my family and friends. They have flown away to a warmer place. I cannot stay here. Come with me.
But Thumbelina had had enough adventure and did not want to go anywhere else, and so the swallow flew away. A few months had passed when the love-struck friend of the mouse found Thumbelina again.
Oh, my beloved, I have been looking for you everywhere. Now I have found you and must marry you.
Thumbelina knew there was no way out of it for her, so she asked him if she could spend one last day out in the open air before she was confined to living the rest of her life underground with him. As she roamed in the open fields for one last time, she heard a familiar voice.
Come away with me, where your spirit will always be free.
Thumbelina saw her old friend who had returned for her. This time around, she agreed and hopped on the back of the swallow, and they took off. They flew over land and water and fields of green. When they reached the land of the flowers, the swallow landed Thumbelina on a beautiful flower petal.
This is the kingdom of the flowers, and that is their king.
Thumbelina saw a handsome young king with beautiful wings. He was surrounded by lovely flowers. As soon as she saw him, she knew she wanted to call this place home. Her presence attracted the king's attention. He too fell in love with her immediately. "Will you marry me?"
Yes.
As happiness spread across her face, she grew a beautiful pair of wings and became the flower queen.
Oh wow, Tia. I don't know what I would do if I would land in such a strange world. I think I am happy where I am. These cookies are so yum. I can eat them forever.
Tofu, have you ever imagined what if these cookies become alive?
Alive?
This reminds me of a story. The Gingerbread Man. Long ago, there lived an old couple. One day, the old woman cooked a gingerbread cookie in the shape of a man. As soon as the gingerbread man was cooked, he jumped out of the tin and ran out of the open window, shouting,
"Don't eat me!"
He ran away as fast as he could. The old couple tried to chase the gingerbread man, but he was too fast for them. Soon, a hungry pig saw the gingerbread man and said,
Stop! I would like to eat you.
He too joined the chase. The gingerbread man was too fast and said, You can't catch me. I am the gingerbread man. A little further, a hungry cow saw the gingerbread man and said,
Stop! I would like to eat you.
She too joined the chase. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Next, he met a horse. The horse too joined the chase. Finally, the gingerbread man came to a river and stopped, as the river could make him soggy. A clever fox came by and wanted to eat him up. But he pretended to be nice and offered help to the gingerbread man. He asked the gingerbread man to climb on his head so that he could take him across the river. The gingerbread man was so scared of water that he agreed. As soon as they reached the other side, the fox tossed up the gingerbread man in the air. He opened his mouth and ate him up. That was the end of the gingerbread man.
I don't want my cookies alive and get eaten by a wolf.
Ha 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 ha! Enjoy your cookies, Tofu.
Look at that girl, Tia. That boy will beat her up easily. I don't think she should get into a fight with him.
No, Tofu. The boy was wrong to have stolen her bag, and the girl deserves a chance to get it back.
But she's a girl. She can't win against a boy like that. She will get hurt.
Just because she is a girl doesn't mean she has to fear, Tofu. Girls also have a lot of courage and strength.
Do you know of a girl like that?
Yes, I do. Her name is Mulan.
Mulan? Who is she?
Mulan lived in ancient China with her parents. She was their only child. Her only companion was her dog called Little Brother. Mulan's father used to be a great warrior, but he had hurt his leg in a war and couldn't fight anymore. One day, a messenger came from the emperor. The Huns, China's army, had attacked, and at least one man from each army had been ordered to join the emperor's imperial army. This was terrible news for Mulan and her family, as it meant that her father would have to go back to war. That night, when her parents had slept, Mulan had an idea. She took her father's sword and cut her hair off. Then she put on his warrior's uniform, and she looked just like a man. She took little brother and made her way to the Imperial Army's campsite. There she met Captain Li Shang.
What is your name?
Ping, sir.
Very well then. Time to begin your training.
Mulan was delighted that everybody had accepted her as a man and started her training. Sadly, she lagged behind all the other warriors.
You are not fit to be in my army. You are slowing everyone down. Go back to your village.
Returning to her village would have brought great shame to her family, so Mulan came up with another plan. She wrote a fake letter to the army saying that the Huns have attacked. Reading the letter, Li Shang ordered his army.
Onward with me. March to the mountains. We shall defeat the Huns forever.
As the army was crossing the pass that led to the mountains, they found themselves surrounded by thousands of Huns.
We've been cheated. The Huns were supposed to be in the mountains.
Soon the entire Imperial army was under attack. Mulan had another idea. She took the last cannon and lit it. There was a huge blast which destroyed most of the Huns, but it injured Mulan too. She was rushed to the doctor's tent.
Bring Ping to this bed. I will take care of him.
But there was a surprise waiting for the doctor.
Oh my God! Ping is a woman. Get me Captain Li Shang immediately.
The doctor told the captain what she'd found. Few days later, when the army started moving, Shang spoke to Mulan.
You have cheated me. But you also saved the army in the passes. Hence your punishment is that you can no longer be a part of the army. You will not come with us.
Mulan was very upset and heartbroken. She needed to do something to save her family's honor. That's when she heard the Huns' voices. Oh no! The Huns are still alive! I must warn the captain. And so Mulan raced to Imperial City to warn Shang. They are alive. We must prepare for another attack from the Huns.
I cannot trust you anymore. You have cheated me before. You are not welcome here. Leave.
Mulan tried to inform the other leaders, but no one would listen to her. Meanwhile, the Han leader, Shan Yu, attacked the city. And kidnapped the emperor. Li Shang and Mulan freed the emperor. Mulan then enticed Shan Yu to follow her to the rooftop. There she tricked him and grabbed his sword and pinned his coat to the roof. As the two armies collided, there was a huge explosion and the roof was destroyed, taking with it Shan Yu. Mulan fell to the ground. When she sat up, she saw that the imperial army had won, and the Huns had been banished from the city forever. The emperor was very happy with Mulan's bravery and gifted her a sword as a token of appreciation. Mulan went home and presented the sword to her father, who was very happy with the honor that his daughter had brought to the family. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. It was Captain Li Shang. He'd come to return Mulan her helmet that she had forgotten. Mulan invited him to stay for dinner, and he graciously accepted. So you see, Tofu, girls can do anything they put their heart to. Tofu? Tofu, are you listening to me?
Yes, Tia, I am. I am just thinking how wrong I was to think that girls can't fight.
Well, now you know. So better be careful before you pick a fight with a girl next time. For your favorite rhymes, stories, and more, join Kids Hut family. Subscribe here.